Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Clarice and I'm so excited you're joining for today's episode. Today I'm gonna go over a little bit about being an NFL cheerleader, some of the myths and frequently asked questions I got while I was on the team. So I'm gonna go through the myths first, and just for a little bit of context, I was an NFL cheerleader for the San Diego Chargers. Yes, they're the LA Chargers now, for 4 years. And over the course of the 4 years, I've had a lot of people ask me very interesting questions, and rightfully so. I'm sure a lot of you who are watching this have probably seen clips or maybe episodes or watched full seasons of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And most of the questions I get derive from that show. And like I said, that is totally fair. I will say every team functions very differently. The NFL does not own the cheerleaders, or at least when I was an NFL cheerleader, the NFL did not own the cheerleaders. In fact, most of the teams were owned by their NFL club. The Chargers, when they were in San Diego, were not owned by the San Diego Chargers. They actually were owned by an entertainment company. At that time, it was E2K Sports, and they took care of basically all the logistics. They hired us, they hired our director, and then they worked directly with the Chargers on how to incorporate the cheerleaders with the team. So the first thing I wanna go over today are the myths. Well, weight is always a very controversial topic when it comes to cheerleaders, models, actresses, you name it. And it's for men and women. There's always this pressure to look like Barbie, essentially, right? Be the perfect shape, whether it's muscular, be thin, and so forth. And unfortunately, that did come with being an NFL cheerleader. And I don't think there's a single person to blame in this situation, and I don't necessarily think it's wrong. If you guys were to see, and if I were to have held up how itty bitty that uniform is, it is very unforgiving. So yes, there was pressure to be the right shape and the right size. And I never felt though that I was pressured to be skinny or gain weight. I never felt like I was told to do one or the other. I think I was more encouraged to live a healthy lifestyle. And honestly, this goes beyond the team and the uniform. This, it's something I still do to this day, is maintain a healthy lifestyle. And it's mostly to keep my organs healthy, to live a longer life. I plan on having kids one day with Wyatt, and it's to be there for them and not to be dealing with complications or constantly be at the hospital or seeking a doctor's help. So yeah, I just think this is more than just being an NFL cheerleader, but making sure it's part of my lifestyle. However, I did not answer your question, and I might get a lot of flack for this, but I'm going to be open about it, and I'm sure a lot of the girls on the team have talked about it. We did take our weight regularly, whether it was on our own personally, for the team and so forth. We did body fat measurements. And I think it was more as a way to encourage awareness. I do not think it was something where we were weighed and we were told to be a certain weight, not at all. And I know there's documentaries out there that talk about teams that would tell you you are not allowed to gain within 3 pounds of what your audition weight was and so forth. We were never told that. I actually am really happy that we were encouraged to become more aware of our body size, because it's crazy how you can see your body fluctuate and change. Never was I told that I needed to gain weight or lose weight. We were more encouraged to take on a shape that complements our height, how we look in the uniform and so forth. And so, yeah, I know that's a tough one to hear, but yes, I did know my weight while I was on the team. Oh gosh, I probably get this one a lot is when I tell people I was an NFL cheerleader, a lot of times people will talk about how awesome it is that I got to be an NFL cheerleader and I must have traveled a lot since the team plays a lot of away games. Well, being an NFL cheerleader, at least from my experience, is a part-time job. You do not work 40 hours a week, and therefore they are not employing you as a full-time employee. You do not get normal corporate health benefits. There are still benefits, at least while I was on the Chargers. Again, every team is different, but no health benefits, no 401k, none of those typical corporate benefits that you see. However, I will say, I was very fortunate when I was on the Chargers. We had so many sponsors that helped us achieve and maintain our optimal look. And I felt very fortunate to have those sponsorships. As far as being underpaid, you know what? I never took the time to break down what every paycheck was and what it broke down to hourly. My last year on the team, they had evaluated the money that we made and broke it down to essentially we make minimum wage. I will say, depending on what you sign up for and what you work, I'd almost look at this as like an hourly job. There were times when I got paid like 10, 20 times more than what the minimum wage was, or I got opportunities to travel. So it is so hard to have a conversation around NFL cheerleading compensation because there's just so much more to it than just showing up for practice, getting paid hourly, showing up game day and getting paid hourly. And also, every team compensates their cheerleaders a little differently. I also got a bonus for being a captain my last year. They did increase our pay the more veteran we became. So yeah, a lot of interesting things that go into compensation. In my opinion, I was compensated fairly. Honestly, you can't put a price on the experiences you get as an NFL cheerleader. And if I could do this again, I would do it a million times over. Like I said in myth number 2, a lot of people assume that being an NFL cheerleader is a full-time job, and therefore they assume we travel when the players go to away games. We do not travel when the players go to away games, except for Super Bowl. Both teams are entitled to have cheerleaders on the field for the Super Bowl, but during a normal season, no, we don't travel with the team. And you know, I could be making assumptions here. Maybe it's due to each club's specific rules and regulations on the field. Maybe there's some city policies or safety regulations. And just to make things a little bit easier, it's better to keep the cheerleaders at home. I also enjoy having that time at home because then I get to watch my team play with my friends. I get to go to a bar and enjoy a beer or two and watch the team and be a fan. There's a lot of controversy again around this one. A lot of people assume because we're NFL cheerleaders that we get to hang out with the players all the time. We go to their practices, we spend a lot of time with them. And truth be told, we actually kept things very separate on the Chargers. We would have rehearsals at the end of a normal work day. So we would start actually at around 6 p.m. and then go until 10 or later if we needed to. And the players aren't there at that time. This is their 9 to 5. So they get the corporate facility from 9 to 5 to train, to meet, and do whatever they need to do. And then we practice in the off hours. There are times that we do get to interact with the players or do certain events with them. Most of them are charitable types of events. I've gotten to meet a few players. They're really, really nice and they're awesome. But also the Charger girls made it a point to let us know that dating the players is considered fraternization. I do not know if that is a rule that is held by every NFL cheerleading team, but I do know for us, they said in the best interest of the program, it is better for us not to mix and mingle. And I think that's fair. It goes with any work environment. You want to try to keep it as professional as possible to minimize any conflict. Yeah, in my 4 years with the Chargers, I never dated anyone in the NFL. Oh my gosh, I would get this one a lot from all my friends and family. Well, NFL cheerleader secret, we have ways and our uniforms are built to help us enhance our female curves. So no, it was not a requirement to be curvy in certain areas to make the team. And like I said, once we made the team, they let us in on all the tips and secrets to help us enhance our feminine qualities in our uniform. All right, and on to the frequently asked questions. So I have 3 questions that literally anytime anyone finds out I'm an NFL cheerleader will ask me. The first one, is there an age limit to be on the team? There is a minimum age requirement. You do, at least for when I was on the Chargers, you have to be at least 18 years old to be on the team. And we have had girls, I think it was a certain date that you had to be 18. Maybe it was the day we actually got hired because or maybe not. Anyway, I did have a teammate that came from another state, and she was actually still in high school, and she flew all the way to San Diego to try out for the team and ended up making it. She did meet the age requirement, but yeah, I thought that was mind-blowing to me that somebody was so excited to join the team that they flew from another state to try out while they were still in high school. And the reason why they flew while they were still in high school was that, at least for the Chargers when they were in San Diego, audition season always began in April, and then we would, I think, start boot camp in May. And so we would spend those several months before football season actually began, before regular season began, practicing and learning and doing all the things to get us ready for game day. So yeah, she was still in high school when she tried out, and then I think had special permission to finish up and, move to San Diego to start her contract. We have also had girls on the team that were in their 30s and nobody knew. But yeah, there is no age limit. There is a minimum age requirement typically for most teams. I think some might be 21 and older. So yeah. Second question, does it cost a lot to be on the team? For me, it did not cost me a lot. I know some girls probably feel different about this, but I didn't think it cost me a lot. As I mentioned when I was talking about the myths, we were fortunate enough to have many sponsors that helped us bring the cost down to maintain our look, if not cover the whole thing. I mean, we had sponsors literally head to toe, hair salons, tanning, pantyhose, our uniforms were paid for, our boots and practice gear were paid for, gosh, you name it. And then the Chargers would even give us gifts sometimes. We got practice bags from them, or we'd get a hat or something to help us, be on the team. I really appreciated the fact that our director sought out to help us. If it's a requirement of the organization, she did her best to make sure that we didn't have to incur any burdens as members. She felt it was their responsibility as the organization that if they were going to make some sort of requirement out of us, that they at least gave us the option to have that compensated for. Now, there were plenty of girls that chose not to use the sponsorships. They were in no way required. But somebody like me, I took full advantage. I mean, and it was an incredible thing to take advantage of. My services could cost upwards of like $1,000, and that was partially covered or sponsored by the hair salon. And there were certain services I had to pay for, and there were certain services in the contract that the salon agreed to provide. So I will say not all of it was covered. I could have done services that were fully covered, but I had sat down with my director and asked if I could have hair extensions, and that was one of the services that's not fully covered, but I took on that responsibility, and that's something I wanted, and that was approved by the organization. But yeah, all my spray tans were covered for game day, all the things. The last frequently asked question I typically get was if I was on a diet, or people always ask about eating disorders when it comes to being an NFL cheerleader. This one's a tough one too, because models deal with this all the time, and there's this expectation to be a certain shape and certain size. And I actually think with the right tools in place, you can achieve, a phenomenal physique, and that does not include eating disorders. So I, never had one. There were times when, yes, I would go on certain diets, like I'd carb deplete during swimsuit calendar season, or I would increase protein intake to increase my muscle gain. And in general, like I said before, this doesn't even have anything to do with necessarily like the organization expecting a certain look out of me. This is for my own health benefits. And to tell you the truth, it has now been roughly 9 years since I left the team, and I still maintain the same general eating, diet, exercise habits that I did. Now, bonus. So these are things that people don't generally ask me, and I don't really talk about or never really talked about as an NFL cheerleader, but I thought would be fun to disclose to you guys. I already spilled the beans on this one, but sponsorships. They help us maintain our CG look. I already talked about it, but yeah, if that's something, you know, you guys are interested in learning about, I'd be happy to go into who our sponsors were and what was provided to us to help us be an NFL cheerleader in another video. Another thing you didn't know about us. At the time when I was on the team, we were not allowed to disclose on any public platforms, including social media, that we were an NFL cheerleader. We were not allowed to post in uniforms. We were not allowed to post in team branded attire, and that did not include Chargers stuff. It was just strictly Charger girls gear. We were allowed to be a fan, but we were not allowed to, at that time, reveal that we were NFL cheerleaders. So my Instagram now is filled with me as an NFL cheerleader because I did not get that chance when I was on the team. So I feel like I'm kind of making up for it now. Another thing that most of you guys don't know, when I tried out for the team, and by the way, it took me 2 tries to make the team. I've heard of some people where it's taken them 9 tries, and I've heard a lot of people where they made it on their first try, but it took me 2 times. I tried out once when I had just turned 18, and then I tried out again after college when I was 22. So just to let you know though, when I was trying out, the times that I have tried out, 500 girls show up to take one of 28 spots on the team. And my rookie year, there were 21 returning vets. So essentially we thought that there were only going to be 7 rookie spots open. And I was one of 9 rookies that ended up making the team. And whenever I think back to that moment and how this just changed my life forever, I am just so grateful that I was selected as one of the 9 my rookie year. And, you know, it goes to show, go try for things. You never know if it's your calling at that time. And every year's different. You know, I didn't make it the first time around, and I was fortunate enough to make it the second time around. So yay. The final thing that you guys don't know about us, but every year we are on the team, we receive, I think it's a couple months of Toastmasters training, and it is actually done through folks who run Toastmasters programs in San Diego, and they volunteer out of their busy schedules to come and give us public speaking training. And I think it has paid off so much, which Cheryl, if you're watching this, I know I've lip-clicked a bajillion times, and I'm sorry, but yeah, it's just that training is so valuable. And when we do get the training, even though it's not formally done through Toastmasters, we do receive a certificate, and it's still the same format and structure of how Toastmasters is actually run. So very grateful for those opportunities. All right, y'all, that is it for today. I hope you found that very entertaining. One thing I want to disclaim at the end of this, like I said, my experience is very different from other teams and other cheerleaders. And also things have evolved since I was an NFL cheerleader. So what I say today might not be what is going on today. If you are an NFL cheerleader hopeful, I wish you all the best. It is an incredible experience, and I hope you are able to enjoy every moment of it. And yeah, I'm so glad you guys all stopped by today. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Feel free to smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and share this with your friends. Also, if you have any more questions, want to get to know me a little bit more, feel free to DM me on Instagram or leave a comment below, and I'll do my best to answer you or make a new video. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.